So let's see what happens. What do we get? We still have room to play the demon later on. Oh, we might not, in fact. We might not. Okay, you go out in for Infinite. Let's go. Yellowjacket, give him the -1. Yeah. No big deal. For Devil Dino. That's what we wanted to see. Yo, hey everybody. We got a new featured location that was just added to Marvel Snap. Welcome to the Machine World. The effect of Machine World is when you play a card here, you give a copy to your opponent's hand, which is quite interesting. We've seen things like Cloning Vats or Sinister London that give copies to your hand or add copies to a different location on your side of the board, but we haven't quite seen anything that gives cards to your opponent's hand on purpose. So I think there's a few ways to manipulate this. You can give them a bunch of trash, a bunch of negative power stuff that they don't want to play by playing it at that location, then destroy it maybe. Or even better yet, maybe you could give them discard cards. You have discard synergy in your hand, in your deck, but then if you give them those, they're going to just accidentally discard cards that they want to keep. That's a good idea as well. But what I like to do when a new location drops is I like to highlight 3 cards that I think are pretty worth it to tech into your decks. Okay, so the first one that I have here is the Sentinel. It's a bit of a weird one. I'm role playing a little bit here with the Machine World Sentinel action, but I think that it does clog your opponent's hand up quite a bit. You give them that card. They can't really get rid of that card. They're going to play it. They're going to get one back. It gets a bit sticky. They might even give this back to us, and that's not a huge deal either. Then we got a bunch of Sentinels to play with, and if our deck is set up just right, that's not a bad thing. So I think the Sentinel is an okay tech in card, especially if you're early on just starting in Marvel Snap and you don't have a whole lot of cards. This is a good one to play at this location. Number 2, if you're progressing a little bit through pool 1 and you were lucky enough to get Devil Dinosaur, I think this is a fantastic card. Your opponent is very likely to play cards at this location, which will then bounce to your hand, increasing your hand size. Remember, Marvel Snap, there is a max hand size of 7 cards, okay? So if you have 7 cards in your hand, that's plus 14 power on top of your Devil Dino with 3, that's 17 power Dino. You're in for a good time. The max hand size is so easy to achieve with this new location. All right, and then lastly, I have Ronan the Accuser. If you're in pool 3 and you acquired this card, it's not the greatest card. There's very few times that you can find value in playing this card, but here it's especially good. Now, you don't want to play him at Machine World because then your opponent gets one and they can play it and have that reactive play. But instead, if we play it offset and we play a bunch of cards down the middle, well, then we might just be fine because they're going to get clogged up with a lot of their cards that they're drawing every turn, cards that you're giving them every turn. It's going to be hard for them to have the amount of energy to play all these cards out, and they'll probably end up with a heavy hand because Ronan gets plus 3 power for each card in your opponent's hand. So this can get out of control really quickly. So those are the 3 cards that I think are pretty worth teching in if you're at various degrees of collection. Now, it's important to remember also that this lasts about 48 hours. So Tuesday night, 11 p.m. Eastern time zone, till about Thursday night, 11 p.m. Eastern time zone. That's when it's going to cut off. That's when it's going to stop being a featured location. Featured locations always drop at this time of the week, and they're always at a 40% increased show rate in your game. So there's a very good chance you're going to see a lot of this location in the next couple days. So lastly, I have a deck here, and I went a little creative, I think, with this one because there's other ways you could do it, like the ones I mentioned earlier, like a discard deck, destroy deck, that sort of thing. But I thought a Lockjaw deck would be great. Now, this is a bit of a pool 3 deck, so you might not have some of these cards just yet, but you can use the tech options instead. But if you're not familiar, Lockjaw is the little puppy on the left there. So he's a 3 cost 2 power, and when you play a card at his location, it swaps out for a card that's in your deck. So it's really worth it to have a lot of cheap things and then heavy cost stuff in your deck. And the reason I think this is good is because I can play Lockjaw at Machine World, give them a Lockjaw. I don't think that's going to help them much. Makes it really awkward for their kind of plays. And then I'm going to play things like Yellowjacket, Wasp, the Hood, stuff that they do not want in their hands. It's going to fill up location spots if they end up playing these cards. But they're going to get those copies, but me, on my end of the board, it's going to swap out for something better in my deck. That's the plan. So it's kind of a double whammy. Get a lot of power from me and give them trash at the same time. So let's see how it works in a few games. All right, let's get into it. These Lockjaw decks, by the way, they're very strong decks when they work. So you need your early game at the beginning, like the Yellowjacket, the Hood. All the late game stuff doesn't matter. Whatever you have that costs or has a high amount of power, that's all that matters. Here we don't want to play. And also, you never want to play with a card when you're playing a Lockjaw deck. You never want to play that early stuff. You need to keep it in hand for when you do the turn 3 Lockjaw play. Okay, we do have Machine World, and we have the nuts. I mean, I'd love to see this guy in the deck, but that's fine with these 3 cards. I can play 2 with Lockjaw next turn at Machine World, giving my opponent Yellowjacket and Wasp. He's going to be nasty. So he's going to give me Morbius, which kudos to him. That's a good idea, because where do I get value from old Morb here? Oh, he could have played Morb at Onslaught Citadel, though. Sad days for him. All right, this is the play. We play these cards. He's going to get Lockjaw, Yellowjacket, and Wasp, right? He's only got 3 cards in hand. There's a good chance he's going to get them all. And it's all trash. You can even deny draw. Oh, he's discarding, though, so I'm not going to be able to deny draw, per se. So there he goes. He got a Lockjaw. You got that guy. Now I get Devil Dino. He doesn't get a copy of that. See how it didn't really trigger? There wasn't an animation, but it did not trigger. And then we got Yellowjacket again. That is the way the cookie crumbles there. Here we can play the Hood, and I can get, not only will I get a demon, right? A 6 power 1 cost demon, but I'll also swapped it out for something else in my deck. Sentinel seems just like a good play to get power out right now. So that's the nice thing about Sentinel in this deck is it's flexible. We have so many late game things I have to wait until the end of the game. And at this moment in time, I just want to Infinite. I want to pass next turn, and then I want to Infinite and see what I get at the Hood. Hopefully that's good enough that I can carry the mid location. He's going to snap, though. So we'll see what happens. He plays 3 cards at Onslaught Citadel. That's just fine with me. We're going to swap out that Hood for the Wasp, so that's not great. Even though we had the nuts, we got all those cards back. And that's what happens to the Lockjaw decks. Let's just be totally honest. He's going to do the same with the combo that I gave him. He's going to get Onslaught out of it, who doubles again. Oh my gosh. Clean wing. Discarding the Hood that I gave him. I think it's okay to play cards here. We get the power out. Everything's going to move from Strange Cat anyways. And then I get Giganto on the left. That's the play. What a weird turn of events. The double Lockjaw. Oh, that's going to swap out. His Captain Marvel's going bye-bye. In for Wasp! The savior! What a wild game. So there's 2 cards in the middle going to go to Machine World. I got to watch out for that. I might not have enough power in the mid. No, we're a dead even game right now. Wow. And I don't have a single other play other than playing this guy. And hope that 14 differential is good enough. I don't know if it is. What a silly game. So see how they kind of worked out? It almost backfired, but it kind of worked out. He got Onslaught on Onslaught Citadel. That's the dream. But he also got Wasp. And Colleen Wing instead of Captain Marvel, which would have won the game as well. So he's in a tight spot, but he might have drawn... even if he drew... it's tight. It's tight. I'm playing 1 card. I'm going to go down 2 power. Has to be done. It has to be done. End our turn. We're not even going to snap. We're going to see what happens. He's playing 2 cards. He's going to get Jubilee. He's going to play a card in the mid, so he's going to probably win the mid. It's going to be Yellowjacket coming out to save the day again. Let's go. tie, and we win the left. Yes. Dude, the sequencing there was insane. Yellowjacket came up. Yellowjacket came out way too many times. He screwed us over first. Then he screwed him over twice. Here and here. On the right and the left. Oh my goodness gracious. What a sequence of events. That was wild. That was absolutely wild. Normally you're stacking one location. It's like the Lockjaw cycle. Oh, Mindscape. Whoa. Whoa. I hate Mindscape. It's probably one of my least favorite locations. But Machine World kind of won it for us. I don't know what the long-term implications are of this location. It's kind of a bit wacky. I don't know if it has that much of an impact on the game. There it is again. We do have some of the early curve, but we're going to hold off until we get Lockjaw. In a Lockjaw deck, you can pretty much wait until turn 5 to play cards. You just do the Lockjaw cycle at that moment in time. That was interesting for science. It makes sense to me, but just so everyone knows, if you move a card to Machine World, that doesn't count as played. In this scenario, I actually can play cards, and I might as well ice him. On turn 4, transform into one of the other locations. Wow. He's playing a move deck. I might start to put cards on the right. He's gonna snap me? Well, I just iced you, bro. How do you feel about that? What are you gonna put down the middle? You doing some kind of move deck? If we can draw Lockjaw in the next 2, we're golden. We're golden. We're set up for success. Oh, every time. Look at the double swap. Is this gonna swap twice? Are we gonna just like, just have a little party and swippity swoop our hands around? This all seems mighty fantastic to me. Ooh. In fact, I like this play. I like Nightcrawler in particular, even though I'm risking whatever comes out from Nightcrawler gets -1. I like to have him in the deck because if he comes out, I can move him off and have more space to play cheap cards. And then we'll do this guy. So let's see what happens. What do we get? We still have room to play the demon later on. Oh, we might not, in fact. We might not. Okay, you go out in for Infinite. Let's go. Yellowjacket, give him the -1. Yeah. No big deal. For Devil Dino. That's what we wanted to see. Alright, so now I'm giving him... I'm pretty sure we're going to swap hands and then swap back. What happens? Do I care? Does that ever matter? Do I just want to start doing things elsewhere then? He got out of there. Oh, the science! I wanted to see what would happen. I took too long, I guess. He didn't like that Lockjaw play. Boom, there you go. And I gave him, think about it, he had 7 cards in hand. Because we gave him junk. But we're going back in. We're going back in. I want to do another one. I can't believe, I'm pretty confident. We'll never probably get to see that again, but I'm pretty confident that's how that would have worked. Oh, squirrels. That blows. That just takes up a Lockjaw spot. That's too bad. You hate to see them. Ooh, Blade. Agatha. He was running an Agatha deck. Okay. Calm down, sir. Calm down. Let's see if this last location is the one. The mighty. The Machine World. Invisible Woman? Okay. That was kind of whack. It is Machine World, so we can start to... Right on cue with the Lockjaw. Seems good. Seems better time than any to do this. Yeah, you get a Lockjaw. I get the Hood. Oh, couldn't have been worse. Could not have been worse. I don't want to give him Iceman. I'd rather give him a Sentinel. And then also play Sinister London, or sorry, Demon at Sinister London. Is there ever a world where I'd like to double ice him? Doesn't seem bad. But I'm giving him these cards. No, I don't think I think I'd rather Devil Dino Ronin, keep some cards in hand for the Devil Dino. Get some big power output here. Big power output. What does he want to give me? You can play 2 cards of Invisible One. Now, interestingly enough, the play wouldn't trigger because of Invisible One. He's going to double discard with Hell Cow. This is what you call her, hella vibes. This is some hella shenanigans here. Look at, he's got so many cards. Oh my gosh, we get Wasp. Here's another example. Okay, this is good. The first game, an example of how sometimes the Lockjaw cycle can work, right? Even if you draw well. Second game, obliterated him, got an Infinite, it was a wrap. Third game, I got all my trash back. It happens. It happens. But I think about it this way, I gave him trash. I'm not sweating it too much. He's gonna keep discarding cards though. I think Devil Dino has more value than Ronin at this point in time. And we get 2 of them. He's running out of space. That's what I'm thinking. Even if he has, you're running out of space. No? Sentinel? I don't... Lockjaw after the Sentinel? Oh, that's a wrap. That was a mistake. And I don't think this is a bot because it was running Agatha. And I don't know any bot that runs Agatha. Well, how many cards you got? You got... we just get 2 Hulks. We just get 2 Hulks. We snap. We end the turn. And then he retreats. Let's go. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Boom. I think this deck is pretty good for Machine World. There's a lot of value to be had. Now, I want to preface this though. If you don't draw Lockjaw, you might have a hard time. But basically what you do in that scenario is you bank on the Devil Dino because you got a lot of cards in your hand by that point anyways. So that's going to help you out at the location. And you're going to have a 6-drop. So you just kind of play with those two. And then maybe use Sentinels throughout just to give you a little extra power as you keep playing them. Throw out an Iceman just because. It'll be okay. Otherwise, you just stuff their hand with a bunch of junk and you do the Lockjaw cycle. So that was my deck on the Machine World. That was my guide for the Machine World. I hope you enjoyed. Snap subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I greatly appreciate it. I do these every week for the locations. I'm doing all kinds of things. Custom cards, snap locks, deck spotlights. We're having a good time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.